When most people think of Kenya, a few things usually come to mind. Safaris, marathon runners, rugby, maybe even the Kenyan flag beaded bracelets. But what if I told you that Kenya's fingerprints can be found in Hollywood, in the White House, on some of the biggest stages in world football, and even in the global music industry? Because scattered across the world are some of the biggest names on the planet, with one thing connecting them all back to Kenya. Some were born here, some have Kenyan parents, others carry Kenyan roots that most people have absolutely no idea about. And then there are a couple of names that have sparked debate online for years. Are they actually connected to Kenya? Or is it the internet getting ahead of itself? Today we are separating the confirmed from the controversial, as we take a look at global superstars with Kenyan roots. Our first stop takes us to Keroka, Kaycyy County. Because long before Grammy nominations, platinum records, and studio sessions with some of the biggest names in music, that's where the story of Kaycyy began. Born Mark Makora Mbogo, Kaycyy would later move to the United States with his family while he was still young. At the time, there was no way of knowing that this young boy from Kenya would one day find himself working alongside some of the biggest artists on the planet. Over the years, Kaycyy quietly built a name for himself behind the scenes as a rapper, singer, and songwriter, collaborating with artists such as Kanye West, Lil Wayne, Lil Baby, and Travis Scott. While many fans may not recognize his face immediately, there is a good chance they've already heard his work. His biggest breakthrough came during the creation of Kanye West's 10th studio album. Kaycyy wasn't just another name buried in the credits. He contributed heavily to the project, helping write songs and recording reference vocals for multiple tracks throughout the album's production. His influence on the project was so significant that his work earned him a Grammy nomination for Album of the Year. Soon after, he would add another milestone to his growing career, winning a Grammy Award for his contribution to Hurricane, the hit record that went on to win Best Melodic Rap Performance. Not bad for a kid whose story started in Keroka. If Kaycyy's story is about breaking into the music industry, then PinkPantheress represents something entirely different. The internet generation. Born Victoria Beverly Walker and raised in Canterbury, England, PinkPantheress grew up thousands of kilometers away from Kenya, but her roots tell a different story. Her mother is Luo and comes from Kisumu, Kenya.
Oh, Mombasa, Kenya. Safari, yeah, okay, yeah, that's where, okay, see, that's where I thought we were from, but we're actually from Kisumu, because my mom messaged me and she beat my ass because I kept getting where we're from wrong. Yeah.
Giving the singer-songwriter a direct connection to Western Kenya, and what a journey it has been. In just a few years, PinkPantheress went from uploading short snippets of music online to becoming one of the most influential voices of her generation. Her sound, a unique blend of UK garage, drum, and bass and pop, quickly caught the attention of listeners around the world. Before long, she was collaborating with some of the biggest names in music: Ice Spice, Central C, Skrillex, and Trippie Redd. Her remix of Boys a Liar with Ice Spice became a global phenomenon, eventually breaking into the Billboard Hot 100 and introducing millions of listeners to her music. The accolades followed soon after. Just another reminder that Kenyan roots have a funny way of showing up in places you least expect. While some of the names on this list have Kenyan parents or grandparents, Edi Gathegi's connection to Kenya is much simpler. He was born right here in Nairobi.
You grew up in Umoja, born and raised in Umoja.
I was born in Umoja, lived there for the first 3 years of my life. And
long before Hollywood came calling, before the blockbuster movies and television appearances, Edi Gathegi's story began in Kenya's capital city. His family would later move to the United States.
And my father, he went to the States to get a degree. And I think it was one of those things where he was supposed to get a degree and then come back home. But my dad, he has a thirst for knowledge. So he loves to learn. And he ended up getting a second degree, a third degree, and we just stayed. So I grew up in the States, born here, raised there.
Gathegi was a basketball player at the University of California, Santa Barbara, and looked set to continue down that path until a knee injury changed everything. Suddenly, the sport he had dedicated years of his life to was no longer an option, so he turned to acting, and that decision changed his life. After landing smaller roles in television and film, Gathegi eventually caught his big break, playing Laurent in the global phenomenon that was Twilight. For many actors, that alone would have been enough, but Edi was just getting started. Over the years, he would go on to appear in productions such as House, Gone Baby Gone, The Blacklist, and X-Men, quietly building one of the most impressive acting careers of any Kenyan-born performer in Hollywood. And in 2025, he reached yet another milestone, when he joined the DC universe as Mr. Terrific in Superman. Next up, we head to the football pitch. And if you are a Liverpool fan, this name probably needs no introduction. Divock Origi was born in Ostend, Belgium. His connection to Kenya runs deep. His father, Mike Origi, represented the Kenyan national team, while several other members of the Origi family also played professional football back home. After beginning his professional career with French side Lille, Origi would eventually earn a move to Liverpool in a deal worth €10 million. He also represented Belgium international and made headlines during the 2014 FIFA World Cup when he became the youngest goal scorer in Belgian World Cup history at just 19 years old. But it was at Liverpool where Divock would truly cement his legacy. Origi built a reputation for showing up when it mattered most. And nowhere was that more evident than on one unforgettable night in 2019. Liverpool needed a miracle. Trailing Barcelona 3-0 from the first leg of the Champions League semi-final, almost nobody believed they could turn it around. Then Divock Origi happened. The Belgian striker scored twice during Liverpool's incredible 4-0 victory at Anfield, helping complete one of the greatest comebacks in football history and sending Liverpool to the Champions League final. Liverpool fans still sing his name to this day, and the trophies soon followed. During his time at Liverpool, Origi won the UEFA Champions League, the Premier League, the FA Cup, the League Cup, the UEFA Super Cup, and the FIFA Club World Cup, becoming one of the most decorated players with Kenyan roots in modern football. And if there is one thing we've learned from this list so far, it's that Kenyan talent seems to have a habit of showing up on some of the biggest stages in the world. If there is one person on this list who truly embodies what it means to belong to more than one world, it's Lupita Nyongo. Born in Mexico City in 1983 to Kenyan parents, Lupita's story began far away from home. Her family had temporarily left Kenya during a period of political unrest and repression, with her father Nyongo working as a lecturer in political science in Mexico at the time. The family returned when she was still less than a year old, and Lupita would spend most of her childhood growing up in Nairobi. Years later, after studying film and theatre in the United States, that same young girl from Nairobi would walk on to one of the biggest stages in entertainment and make history. Her performance in 12 Years a Slave earned her an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, making her the first Kenyan actress and the first Mexican actress to ever win an Oscar. She will go on to become a global star through roles in films such as Black Panther, where she portrayed Nakia, Jordan Peele's psychological thriller Us, and most recently The Odyssey, where she appeared as Helen. Along the way, she has collected an astonishing 67 awards from more than 100 nominations, cementing her place as one of the most celebrated actresses of her generation. Not bad for a girl whose acting journey started on a stage in Nairobi, because sometimes the road to Hollywood begins much closer to home than we think. And finally, we arrive at the biggest name on this list. Barack Hussein Obama II was born in Honolulu, Hawaii in 1961. But his story didn't begin there, because thousands of kilometers away, in the village of Nyangoma, Kogelo in Siaya County, lived a young Kenyan economist named Barack Hussein Obama Sr. A scholarship opportunity would eventually take him to the University of Hawaii, where he met a young American student named Ann Dunham. The two would later have a son. That son will grow to become the 44th President of the United States. Although Obama spent most of his life in the United States, he never shied away from his Kenyan heritage. In 2015, Obama made history once again when he became the first sitting president of the United States to visit Kenya. From Kogelo to the White House, few stories better capture just how far Kenyan roots have reached across the world. The next name on our list comes with a bit of an asterisk. For years, reports online have claimed that football superstar Jude Bellingham may have Kenyan roots through his mother Denise. However, unlike the names we've covered so far, this connection has never been publicly confirmed by Jude or his family. So for now, it remains exactly that, a rumor. What isn't a rumor, however, is Jude's connection to Kenya itself. Long before he became one of the biggest footballers on the planet, Bellingham began supporting Michebora Nursery and Primary School in Mombasa through the UK-based Mustard Seed Project charity. And this wasn't a one-time donation or a publicity campaign. Since the age of 15, Jude has helped raise funds to expand classrooms, improve ICT access to students, support feeding programs, and provide football equipment for children at the school. Today, hundreds of children benefit from that support. So while the internet continues debating whether Jude Bellingham has Kenyan heritage, one thing is beyond dispute: his impact in Kenya is very real. The final name on our list might surprise some football fans. For years, social media posts and online discussions have claimed that Tottenham and England defender Djed Spence has Kenyan roots through his mother. But unlike some internet rumors that remain unresolved, this one appears to have a clear answer. After looking into the claim ourselves, we reached out to Djed's sister, actress Carla Simone Spence, who confirmed that both of their parents are Jamaican. In other words, despite what many posts online continue to claim, Djed Spence does not in fact have Kenyan heritage. Sometimes the truth is more important than the headline. And in this case, the truth is simple. Djed Spence is not Kenyan. Whether it's music, film, politics, or football, one thing becomes clear after looking at this list. Kenyan influence reaches much further than most of us realize. And chances are, there are even more names we missed. So if you know another global superstar with Kenyan roots, let me know in the comments.